YouTube! So today we're going to show every Iron Man figure I have out on display today. And don't worry, doubles are packed away in storage, so it'll be unique figures. We'll start off with my first figure of 2026. It is the redundant gold chrome and copper chrome Iron Man Mark III. Was this a super satisfying buy? Not really, but still, had to happen. Continuing on with the other Iron Man figures I don't have on my shelf, but in a separate space, is the Neon Tech Iron Man. I kind of like the line because it reminds me of Tron. And this blue one is the first one we got, and it's the Iron Man 4, but in Neon Tech version. The next one on the shelf is the fourth one we got, and it's the Iron Man Mark 50, but in a Neon Tech version. And I think this might be the coolest of the four, and you also get a lot of Mark 50 accessories for that one. Now this one is the second one we got, and it's the Mark 6. The Mark 6 is an awesome suit. It's basically the 4 but with a triangle reactor, and the yellow's done really well. Now this video I will mostly do Iron Man suits, so this War Machine one just snuck in there. It's a third Neon Tech figure we got, and I think it also looks pretty dope. Technically just a little bit of an Iron Man suit, but mostly Tony Stark figure. This is the Tony the Mechanic figure from Iron Man 3, where he's all beat up and he just has the glove of the Mark 42. Bit of an older head sculpt, but it's cool to have. Also on a separate shelf is the Nightmare Illusion Iron Man figure from Far From Home. The next figure that's not on my Iron Man shelf but still out on display is this one. The artist collaboration Venomized Iron Man suit. And this is a Venomized Iron Man Mark 7. I don't think many people liked it, but I think on the shelf it just has a great presence, and it's massive as hell. And it does well in the light box. It complements how bizarre this figure is. And speaking of bizarre, this is also a weird one. This is Fractal Iron Man Mark 4, which I coined Swarovski Iron Man. Little did I know that we'd get 2 more installments of this one. But anyway, this is the first one we got, and it's done in nice red and yellow, and in the right lighting it looks great. This one, like the Mechanic, is from Iron Man 3, and it's Workshop Tony. You get a very elaborate diorama with this one, but it's also a bit of an older figure. Still on the separate shelf is the Fractal Iron Man suit, the second installment we got, Sub-Zero one. This is also Mark IV as the previous one, but this has like a beautiful pearlescent print job. Now behind him on the same shelf we have the Ironmonger, and with this figure you also get the Obadiah Stane head sculpt, which still looks pretty good for its age. Just as a random placement because of its size, there is Igor from Iron Man 3 House Party Protocol. He eats up a lot of space, but he's just pretty dope to have because I just love the blue vibrant color. And speaking of vibrant colors, this is the third installment of the Fractal Iron Man suit Mark IV. This one's called Haze, and Hot Toys used kind of a greyish, purplish, greenish chameleon type of paint on this one. And this might be the coolest one of the Fractal suits so far. Also not on my Iron Man suit shelf, because this one's on the Marvel shelf, is the Mark 44 Hulkbuster. And this one is huge with a capital H. I think it weighs around 8 kilograms, and it poses really hard. And I still have to do the light ups, because he looks even doper when you light him up. I think I saw some rumors somewhere that there's going to be a reissue of this one. I'm not sure if that is any truth to that, but I'll stick to this one. On that same Marvel shelf, of course, we have the battle damaged Mark 85. And what pose other than the snap pose to put him in? I mean, this figure could do anything that any other Iron Man figure could do, but yeah, this is iconic. Now, you've seen this one in my previous video of 2025 figures that I got, but this is of course also on a separate shelf because it just takes too much real estate. This is such an eye catcher. In a Marvel shelf or an Iron Man shelf, the USB powered light up gantry of the Mark 6 is just too good to pass up on. That combined with the battle damage on this second diecast Iron Man Mark 6 makes this classic. Now going officially to my Iron Man shelf. This is the first Iron Man I actually got. It's the Iron Man 46, the first release. This was where I naively thought I was going to get one definitive Iron Man, and I looked up which one I wanted to have, and this was the one I got. And I still love it. It's so intricate, but still bulky. Now, before the Mark 6, 2.0 and Gantry, this was the centerpiece of an Iron Man collection, in my opinion. So the premise of this shelf was Tony Stark in the Gantry of the Mark 4, surrounded by all of the other suits he put together, just like a Hall of Armor kind of file. And I still think the Mark 4 and the Gantry lend themselves very well for that. Even though it's a bit of an older figure now, I still think it's a solid release. And you get the head sculpt and the sunglasses and the donut and the coffee. Now this pose is kind of reminiscent of the Iron Man 1 movie when Tony cockily presents the Jericho missile. But in this case he presents his other suit. So there's one Iron Man I still have to dig up from the moving boxes, which is the Mark 7 Black and Gold edition. It sort of reminds me of Python, but it just looks cooler in my opinion. Now, continuing the idea of Tony being surrounded by his other Iron Man suit, there's still one head sculpt that I need to replace, and that's this one. It's of the concept Mark 46. I just need to find the helmet. Now, continuing on the Iron Man suits, we'll start off with the Mark 4 holographic edition. And this one was a bit of a miss. I think I know what they were going for, but I think they mostly screwed up with the lighting on the helmet, which looks very weird when lit up. Overall, I think it's $80 at the moment. Next up is the comic The Origins Iron Man, which also wasn't very well received. I think it's a pretty original piece. Is it my favorite piece? No, not really. The plastic kind of throws me off. The transparent plastic. I do really like the vibrant red and gold, but I think these two did better. The one on the right is the classic Iron Man, and the one on the left is the Hono Studios Iron Man. Both doing the same thing but execute differently. I don't know which one of the two I like more. It kind of depends on the day, I think. But the Hono Studios one, while cheaper, had a very cool thing where you could light up, or at least turn on the lights by using a magnet. And they used the yellow silicone, which makes for a very natural looking muscle structure. As opposed to the comic The Orange Iron Man figure, I kind of really like this stealth version. I think the things that worked well on the regular Iron Man work even better in the blue, and the translucent plastic in blue isn't even that bad looking in my opinion. Now, speaking about bad looking, I'm really undecided about these very chromy Iron Man. This is the Mark III gold version, and while I like some good old chrome and gold, just like with this Mark II, I think 3.0 maybe, it's just too shiny, and when things get too shiny, they don't define the separate pieces of the suits anymore. Which, by the way, is why I also think that silver server joints won't be that much of a problem. And like the gold chrome and the silver chrome of the Mark II, this Mark III stealth version has, well, for me at least, has the same problem. Because it's too shiny, it just loses definition. And this becomes even more apparent because I have the original stealth version also. And to me, the matte finish on the blue and the light blue is way more interesting than the glossy finish on the new one. Now, another interesting release, but maybe not so interesting for a lot of people, is the second rendition of a holographic suit. And this one is of the clean Mark 85. Now, not a lot of people liked it, and it was also dubbed Listerine Iron Man. But I used it to kit bash a superior Iron Man together with the third-party Tom Cruise Iron Man head sculpt. And I think that worked out pretty well. Now, coming back to the variant of my probably favorite Iron Man suit, this is the concept version Mark 46 with the 47 head sculpt. I think it's a very cool paint scheme, and fun story is that I got this figure for free at Mandarake. It was my first time ordering there, and all of a sudden I got it for free as like a giveaway, so that was cool. And this of course is the Mark 47. which is basically a repaint of the 46. And of course this one was used as a helping hand for Peter Parker when Tony was out partying in, I don't know, Honolulu or Hawaii or somewhere. The second red and silver Iron Man suit over here is the Mark V, which reminds me that I don't have the suit up Mark V and 7 included in this video because they're still in the box. I'm just not ready to destroy Racing Suit Tony yet. Now technically Hot Rod is a War Machine figure of course, but I just really loved like the Hot Rod boots, so I had to have him on my Iron Man shelf. So it's a bit of a cop out, but I just like the Hot Rod flames. And I think this is one of the first die-cast Iron Man figures we got. Of course it's the Mark 42, and this is just the old version. So this still had the button on the back where you had to push it in and then you could move the legs further. And in front of him is the Mark 43, which is just a repaint of the 42, but this one belongs inside the Hulkbuster. You can actually put him inside there and you get some sleeves for the legs so you don't damage the diecast. Now way in the back, unposed, stands the Mark 85, the clean version. In the beginning I was a bit hesitant to get this one because I already had the concept version Mark 46, which has this exact paint scheme, and I had Mark 50, so this is kind of those two combined. But it's still good to have, and the paint job photographs really well. And in front of him over here is the Mark 50. And of course with the Mark 50 there's also an accessory pack that you can buy separately. And they look kind of flimsy, but they give you so many options to pose the Mark 50. So it being discounted all right now, I think it's a very good deal to get that. Now in the front of the pack is the Mark 42 3.0, and this is the one that has integrated USB light up, which is very cool because now you can actually have the reactor and repulsors and the headlight just lit up all of the time. And I think this is our ultimate goal if you collect Iron Man, right? Now with this one you also get a really battle damaged look with pieces of the armor torn off and a Tony head sculpt, which is pretty cool. Now this one is the favorite Iron Man suit of a lot of people, and this is of course the Iron Man Mark 7, which is one of the bulkiest Iron Man figures. Now with this one you get some switch up parts and you can also have him in pod mode. But of course with the suit up version being released, I don't know if anyone would ever pose him in pod mode again, because it's kind of a waste of the figure. It wasn't a surprise that as the D100th figure, Hot Toys chose to have this Mark 7 in a repaint. So to celebrate their 100th Iron Man figure in diecast, they decided to get this one in red and in silver, and you get this flimsy Avengers background. And I decided to give us one more round of my favorite Iron Man suit, the 46, the original version. I also have the 2.0 of this one, and apart from the base, I don't remember what the differences are. Now this one is the Mark 7, the Sub-Zero version. And what's cool about it is that it's a plastic Iron Man figure. And plastic Iron Man figures are way safer to pose up in the air, so that's pretty cool. Which also goes for this one. This is the Shotgun Iron Man figure. It's not as well known as a lot of the other House Party Protocol suits, but it's still a very cool suit. It's basically a repaint of the Mark 23 shades, and this one was made for high velocity fighting. Speaking about repaints, this is the Mark 21 Midas figure. While Midas is just a repaint of the Mark 7, I think this has a totally different vibe. As you can see, it has 3 different types of gold finish. It's matte gold, it's copper gold, and a bit of silver gold, which to me has a lot more definition than this gold chrome. If you really like to do weird stuff, you can actually switch out parts between the Mark 7 and this one, because it's actually the same and all limbs can be removed from both pieces. Now for that eye catcher in the background, it's the Iron Man Mark 1 2.0, the diecast version, and this one was customized by Let Light Toy some time ago. You can look him up on Facebook. He has done some very cool projects like a Doctor Strange, I'll show you later, but for now, this Iron Man. When this diecast version came out, I was kind of hoping that they would upscale the figure like how Toys does with most figures they do a 2.0 of, but unfortunately they didn't on this one. It does come with a high base, comparable to the Justice League bases, but still this one feels very short. And maybe it's the way it's supposed to be because the Iron Man suit is a lot bigger than Tony Stark himself, but he still feels like the odd man out when you put him right next to the other Iron Man figures. As for the head sculpt, they did update that one compared to the 1.0, but the main feature of this piece is definitely still the customization of the arc reactor and flamethrowers. And that brings us to the last Iron Man suit on my Iron Man shelf. It's the latest die-cast Mark III suit. And you kind of already saw it with the blue one that you see on his right, but it's still an impressive figure. If you love the bulkiness of the Mark VII, but also the sleek look of the Mark IV, you'll love this one. And that's it. That's Tony Stark on the gantry, surrounded by his Iron Man suits. Now I hope you enjoyed seeing this one, but the next video will be a lot more posing.